feels good to be back. I am so glad to be making this video today. I took a little bit of a break during the fall, and I am picking back up with the videos again. Today I am just going to be bringing you a really quick video about the challenges that I'm facing this year in our homeschool. January and February really together. After Christmas, January and February for me are always the hardest in my homeschool. For the past 7 years, January and February, it's always a struggle for me. So this year is no different, and so it's given me a lot of time to kind of reflect on our school year so far and kind of what's been challenging so far, you know. And so it's not like terrible things, but just kind of updating you guys. You know, I think people think that just because we've been homeschooling for so long that I've worked out all the kinks. That's so not true. And you will hear some of them right now that I haven't worked out yet. So I'm just going to, I have notes right here, so I'm just going to really quickly kind of go through my, there's only 4 really that I have to talk about, but the first one that is consistently been a struggle for me this year is the time that it takes my eldest son to do his math lesson. This is something in our quarter 1 video that I talked about. It's going to be something that I talk about in my quarter 2 video, but the guidelines in the Math 5 book talk about lessons taking anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And I think that's a really good amount of time to do a lesson. Now that is assuming that they understand the content perfectly and they can just fly through their work. I am finding that that's not the case for my son. It is taking him a lot longer than an hour to do his math lesson. Something that I've had to start doing is going through his lesson, and I have to mark out almost half of all of the review problems and the practice problems in the lesson under each section, because sometimes there's like 12, you know, adding fractions 12 times, 12 different problems. And while I appreciate all of the practice that they're wanting the students to have, I don't think it takes 12 problems to do that. So I normally just go down to 6. If he's really, really proficient at it, maybe I'll even go down further to like 3 or 4. So that's something that I have found to be a huge struggle this year, is just kind of coping with how long it takes my eldest to do his math lesson. The next one is my kindergartner. Reading at the beginning of the year was really hard for her. There were things that just kept getting kind of like challenging for her. She was encountering a lot of struggles with telling certain letters apart, and she still has some of those challenges. Not so many now, and her reading has improved dramatically, and I couldn't be more proud of her for doing that. But we still have a few struggles, and you know, sometimes it will feel like she's doing really, really great, and then all of a sudden it's almost as if she jumps back, and you know, some of those earlier struggles kind of present themselves again, only for just the briefest of moments. It's not, you know, a long time, but it does kind of get me frustrated a little bit sometimes when it's like, you know, we spend so much time doing this, and you know, you keep going, you keep reverting back every once in a while to those previous challenges. But I know we are making forward progress, and that's what matters right there. The next one is this year we've taken on a lot of extracurricular activities. Before the holidays, we were doing so many extracurricular things. We were having something every day of the week, and that is when I started homeschooling. That was not like on my vision statement. That was not something that I envisioned our life to be. So now, after the holidays, we did drop one of the extracurriculars, and I'm glad that we did. If you are okay with being a busy family, then that's not an issue for you. But that was, again, when my husband and I sat down 7 years ago, starting our homeschool journey, this was something that was forefront in my mind, at least, was not being a mom who had something every day of the week. So, like I said, after the holidays, we had to drop one of our extracurriculars, and I'm thankful that I did that, because it did free up some time. But it was a hard choice. It was. for sure. There's two left, and the one I'm going to talk about first is purely like an expectation that I think a lot of homeschool moms struggle with. And I know there's going to be at least one person out there who can relate to me, but I am a very neat person. I thrive when things have a place. I thrive when things are in their place. And I like a clean home. Now, with 4 kids, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and my 5-year-old being a very busy child, I understand that it's hard to keep that expectation. My toddler is a toddler. I mean, he will be here, then there, and there's just mess left in his wake. And I know someone's gonna be like, oh, well, you know, that's how they learn, and you know, that's true. It's so true. And I don't want to squelch that. I really don't. But then there's this part of me, and I guess it's the expectation of always having a neat home. There's gonna come a time when my house can be clean all the time. There's gonna come a time when no one will be in this house except for me and my husband, and my house will be neat all the time. Everything will be in its place, and I'm gonna wish for these days to come back because I know that my children will be with me. So it's not that I don't understand that this is a season, and it's not that I don't understand that these times are to be cherished because they're little, they want me around, I can be in their lives as much as I can be, and they're only in my home for a very small percentage of their life versus the rest of their life. And I can completely get behind that reasoning. And I totally get it. But that doesn't mean in the moment when you're surrounded by mess and chaos and clutter that, you know, my scale doesn't kind of go up a bit. There are mothers who have found the secret to contentment in a messy house because it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to spend the energy that it would take to yell at my kids or to discipline my kids or to pick up the mess because it's just going to happen again tomorrow or, you know, 2 hours from now. And I wish that I could get to that level of maturity, but I'm still growing in my homeschool journey. And so that, to me, is a very shallow challenge, but it's real. And that's really all I can say is it's a real challenge for me. And then the last one is a little personal, and I'm not really sure what the implications of this challenge are yet, but through every single homeschool year, God has laid something on my heart that I think He's trying to draw my attention to as far as making changes in our homeschool life. And for the past year so far, it's just become apparent to me that, and I think I had the same problem with this last year, I get so stressed out, I think, with, you know, the clutter and the extracurriculars and the time it takes my son to do his math, because we have so much bookwork. And I've never wanted to be a book-heavy homeschool. Like, even now, when I think about my desire for my homeschool, it's not a book-heavy homeschool. I want my children to be innovative, and I want them to have critical thinking, and I want them to start problem solving about how, you know, to solve problems and to create things. But I think in my heart of hearts, it's so challenging for me as a mother, as a person, to step away from the structured school. And again, on my vision statement when we started, you know, I don't want to replicate school at home, but yet I've spent the last 7 years doing that. And that's really hard for me to admit because it's like, I don't know how I can see myself stepping out of that comfort zone, stepping out of those parameters that I have set for myself. Because I really do want to experience the freedom of what a book light homeschool could mean for me, for my kids, and for our family. I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. And so, again, these are all my feelings, kind of raw and really unfiltered at this point. of just how I'm feeling and what I'm struggling with, because those are challenges that do present themselves in my homeschool rather regularly, and I just don't really know how to deal with them. I don't know how to approach changing the entire DNA of our homeschool up to this point. And so that's just kind of where I am right now. Like I said, this is not the first time that God has brought something to my attention in my homeschool that he wants me to kind of pray through and think of. So that's just what this particular thing is. It's a biggie because it will require basically like a 180 in my homeschooling philosophy and in my homeschool like method, I guess. So what that looks like going forward from this point, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go with this feeling. I don't know what I'm going to look at, really. But I just want to put it out there in the great void of, I guess, of existence, that all homeschool moms, no matter how long they've been on their journey for, have a point in their homeschool where they're like, what am I doing really? And so that's kind of where I am right now, is just sifting through what that means. So thank you for my rambling, or I guess thank you for listening to me ramble and kind of think out loud. That's how I think best. So hopefully my next video will be lighter, not as heavy, not as, you know, like, oh, this is very positive. Well, you know, that's that. So I will see you guys in my next video really soon, and have a great day. Bye.